morning. Welcome to Books at the Bottom of the Stairs. My name's Lorene. I'd like to thank all the people who made recommendations a couple of videos ago about possible booktube channels that I could go to and watch. Very interestingly, about 3/4 of them were people that I already followed, so thank you. We're all on the same wavelength. Now, some of those that I follow, they don't necessarily give me a regular what would be the word? It's not always a success in terms of, I don't mean that it's a failure. It's not always a success in that they have books that I'm interested in. So they are not people that I go to reliably. Does that make sense? Not that they're not reliable. It's just that I don't myself always find what I'm looking for. And what am I looking for is a good question. I think I'm looking for something that's definitely got plot. Very much a plot person. I'm usually looking for fiction. And after that, I'm pretty open to, there's some things that I'm not going to look for, like horror or even thrillers. Yeah, sometimes a thriller is good, sometimes it's not. I like mysteries. I've tried romance. I don't love the current trends that are happening in romance, so I don't go there too much. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll pick up a golden oldie romance around Christmas time, because y'all know how that's going to end, and Christmas in the past has been pretty traumatizing, so I needed something that was reliably going to be happy. Trauma of Christmas has abated, so therefore my need for successful romance has also abated. What else am I looking for? I'm looking for really good middle grade recommendations. So far, I would say that the young adult category has not been thriving in terms of who I watch and what gets recommended. It's just not a category that seems to be terribly popular, or I just haven't selected properly for that. But it's also an area where I've run out of steam. I'm just not enjoying what's happening currently in the storylines and the characters and so on. And I would say it isn't so much the characters as the plot lines. They seem to have been done often and with not a ton of variation. So YA is not something I gravitate to too much anymore. I tend to stay away from the really complex high-end literature. Mostly because I want a book to be engaging, but I don't want it to be something that I get a headache reading, because I'm thinking, what the heck is going on? And I tend to stay away from, I don't read anything that has children being hurt or women being victimized. I mean, I understand that sometimes there has to be a plot line where someone is a victim, but if it's like just the only thing that's happening in the book, then no. And what else do I tend to stick away? I tend to stick away from books that are just really, the characters really internally preoccupied with themselves. Being someone who's internally preoccupied with myself, I just think, well, my preoccupations about myself are way more important than yours. So maybe that's a little too much information. So anyhow, I really did enjoy those. I did go to every place where there was a recommendation. And one that I think would be fun to learn to visit is Mystery Ahoy, was recommended by Donabert. And it is a blog. And so one of the things that with YouTube, I have drifted away from all the blogs I used to watch and or read, I guess. And I think I might be missing something by having done that to myself. But there's also so much time, and with a video, I can put it on and still be busy somewhere else. If I'm reading something, I have to stay and pay attention, and so that's a bit of a challenge. So anyway, Mystery Ahoy looked really good. Obviously, it's about mysteries. And the other one that I thought looked pretty good was Aaron Read a Book, and I've got the word maybe beside it. I don't know why. I'll have to go back and think. That was from Gina Stayner. I wonder why I wrote maybe, because Gina and I quite often see eye to eye on books. And she's even one of the shout-outs that I'm going to do. So I'll start with Gina. Gina Stayner Reads is a YouTube station that I have been watching pretty close to when she started. And she likes to do cozy books, sometimes cozy mysteries, sometimes cozy love stories, sometimes just cozy. And there's a couple of authors that she is particularly enamored of, and I would agree. They are definitely where you go if you want to read something that is, as per one of my videos yearly, it's about read books that don't crush your soul. And Gina's definitely fall in that category. So, and she's just a really lovely spoken, the aesthetics. One of the reasons I love about Gina is that she subscribes to the idea that you just start talking and you don't edit, you just have fun on camera, end of the story. So it's a very pain-free experience in terms of, there's not a lot of editing clips, and it's good, it's off the cuff and it's natural. Okay, another one that I, really like is Jack at Spread Book Joy, and she's from the UK, and she's kind of going through a bit of a metamorphosis right now. She was very much before going along with tags and what other read-alongs and so on. And so in the last 9 months or so, she's returned more to what she wants to read at the moment. So she does still do a number of things that are pre-planned, but for the most part, she's picking up books that really give her joy. And she has quite a range of stuff that she will pick up. I think they just finished doing a live on Clockwork Orange. And I can also rely on her for really good middle grade recommendations. They're not always in Canada, but I put them on my to-do list, and sometimes they show up after a year or two. So, and she also does a lot of stuff with one or two other booktubers that they have a couple of ongoing projects. So Jack is also someone who really isn't pre-editing or pre-scripting, and it's a very natural flow of conversation, and she's got a very good sense of what makes a good book. She's a teacher, so quite often she will do books that would make good additions to teaching supplements, if that's the right word. Okay. Joleen at Bookworm Adventure Girl is my Canadian gal. There is another Canadian gal coming up, but Joleen is the one that I watch most reliably. And Joleen can always be counted on to be paying attention to what's happening in Canada. There are prizes that she follows. There's the Canada Reads competition that she follows. She quite often has a project that encourages reading across Canada that allows for recommendations about different authors or publishers or reading events so if you follow her, you get a really good cross-Canada picture. Now, Joleen, I hope you don't get upset with me, Joleen. She has got a TBR that's over 1,500, and I think for the last year she's been trying to get it down to 1,500, and she ain't doing too good. And so I laugh. It would haunt me to have that many unread books, but Joleen loves it, and I totally understand why. It's because she can walk into any room in her place, and she can find a book to settle down with. She's also collected different authors, so she has the backlists as well. So if something new comes up, and let's just pretend there's a new Thomas King book up that's just being released, chances are pretty good she's got several of the backlist as well. So she's got overviews of authors as well. And she doesn't very often do nonfiction, but occasionally does poetry. And the couple of nonfiction videos that she's done have really brought forward some interesting authors and topics. Joleen also reads outside of Canada, which makes for a very nice range of kinds of authors that she is considering. Okay, Russell at Ink and Paper Blog has just returned to Booktube land. He took some time off. They moved from San Francisco to Portland, and it was a pretty big move. The house had to be sold, and then the new house had to be finished, or something like that. Anyways, he's back, and he does a wide range of books that I would say they're either kind of science fiction, fantasy, because he gets a lot of mail, I guess, from Tor publishers. There are a couple other publishers that will send him new releases, and so he does often new release, letting us know. Not necessarily recommending them, but he does a really good job of book talking them. So I feel like when he's spoken about them, I quite often will write down whatever's just new from those publishers. And when he's come back and said, I read such and such a new release that I had read, quite often it's a positive review, and I will then follow through, and I have not been disappointed. I don't think there's anything that Russell has recommended that I've chosen to go for that has left me thinking, what? And the other thing that Russell gravitates towards is not true stories, but true humanity. They are stories where you really feel the emotional landscape of a character. He doesn't do he doesn't do the navel gazing either. But if someone is having grief, for instance, he finds the authors that really demonstrate the emotional content of a character really well. And if Russell has said, I cried, he really has cried. And so that's a good indicator. How many times did Russell cry in a book? Okay, let's go read it. Tristan in the Classics, I've spoken about a number of times. Now, Tristan, I don't read as many classics as he has either. I've already read a lot, which is not meant to be a boast, but it's just, I've been reading for 60 years, so I've covered a lot of classics. On that said, I haven't read a ton of early Greek writing or, early medieval writing. He tends to be, I would say, sort of Reformation forward. But he also does, every time he brings something forward to his comments, I'm trying to remember if it's every week or every 2 weeks, but he really talks about a book. He is one of the few reviewers that knows how to talk about a book the way we used to, I guess. Not in the, I like it, I didn't like it, the character did this and then the character did that and that didn't make sense. He doesn't talk about it like that. He talks about it more about how you can connect as a reader to the themes that the author was trying to get across. So if it's a theme of being trapped in your own world, for instance, and trying to come to terms with a society that doesn't let you move forward in your social class, let's just pretend. So maybe he would be talking about a couple of Dickens books, and he would be talking about the human effort of seeking more and wanting more and achieving more and finding satisfaction in that moreness. And so he talks about it in how to make the classics resonate in your own life and connect with these writers that are gone, but how they are books that still carry so much power into today's world, because the human condition hasn't changed very much. So he's definitely on the brainiac side of things. And this, just last month, I signed up for his Patreon book club, and every month, yes, I think it's every month, we're going to be reading a classic. And I guess we'll be talking about it more in depth than what he brings forward to the sort of non-paying subscribers. I don't know what I'm getting into, but the first book is North and South, which I've already read. And I think Rebecca's coming down the tubes. I think Macbeth. I don't know, there's one or two others that I haven't read, but I've read those first three. So I'm just really curious to find out how he is going to make that a reality with his book club. Okay, the next one that I love, she's so charming. Her name is Sophie, and she's got this little diddly dong song that goes on to begin with, and then she goes, Sophie reads! And it's called The Redhead Reading, and she is definitely a redhead, and she has absolutely no problem wearing a headband with flowers. She's so sweet. So she's probably not as young as it comes off, but she's just this lively, enthusiastic girl she's not a girl, she's a woman, but there's this joyfulness, there's this cheerful childishness that she brings forward to whatever she's reading. And she reads all over the place. And she has read biographies of artists, or she's read books about like the Dadaism, so she really likes books about art. She also loves a cookbook. She also reads Welsh books. I think it's called the Dewey-thon, that you read a book in Welsh or by a Welsh author, I believe. What else? Well, there's adventures. There's a comic series that she reads with her dad. There's something that she does with her mom. She doesn't particularly do the tags or the read-alongs. She will more, if the theme is nonfiction November, which is too bad it's not happening anymore, she will read widely in that theme. And I just enjoy her so much. She's just so happy. And so whenever she comes forward, quite often I will see something that I like, and I'll write a note for it. I don't have a good track record of going back to her recommendations, partly because they're just not available at my local library, and I'm not sure I want to spend a ton of money on a speculation if I have to bring it in from the bookstore. So I don't have a one-to-one on that with Sophie, but I just enjoy her talking about books so much. She will sometimes do a wrap-up of a month. Sometimes she will show what she's planning to read. And one of the things I love about Sophie is that if she's talked about a book, she brings it back. It doesn't just drift off into the Netherlands or something. Okay, Mercy at Mercy's Bookish Musings. She's kind of irregular when she presents books, but an episode. But she's very thoughtful, for one thing. She quite often has more than one book that she's speaking about. Every so often she'll do a book review, or like a very clear book review. And I guess in a way, she's probably up to this moment, she's probably the one who most routinely will do a single book review, and the others not so much. But it's kind of undermining them when I say that. No, they do book reviews, but it's not often a concentrated, lengthy discussion about a book. They're within the sort of the 20-30 minute mark, and they will. Most other people will have one or two that they're doing that kind of books that they're doing that kind of thing about, whereas Mercy will dedicate a whole episode to a particular book. I like her because she's no nonsense. She has a wide range of things that she reads, and I don't often pick something up that she's recommended, but I really like the way she talks about books. Now we've got two other Canadian gals coming your way. We've got Elizabeth from Bouquins and Books, and she's French-Canadian, living, I think she's either in Ottawa or Montreal. I'm not sure. I don't think I know that detail. And at the moment, she's in a bit of a transition. She too has moved locations. And so her content for the last little while has been talking about her filling up her bookcases, which has been super amusing. And the last one was about how she got a little dog, and the little dog has completely changed her reading. I think it's very amusing. So we get very thoughtful content from Elizabeth, but it's also just very what's happening in my life kind of thing right now. And there's not any nonsense there. It's very charming, very, I could just see sitting down and having a really fun cup of coffee with her, if we were friends. I think I would enjoy her very much as a friend. Lindy at Magpie Reads is a voracious reader. She's out in BC. She used to be in the Midwest somewhere in Canada, and now she's out in BC. And she will read young children's picture books, middle grade books. She has a slant towards the LGBTQ plus community. She has also a slant towards social justice or environmental concerns. She will pick up nonfiction just as often as she will pick up fiction. And when she talks, she's generally, what shall I say? It's a bit more of a book talk than it is about, which is about telling you about what is the book about, as opposed to how she feels about the book. So it's not that she doesn't do it ever, but I think for more, it's just about, what are the merits of the book and how one can really enjoy reading the book. Every once in a while, something comes across that's a stinker, and she'll say that. But and she has, with Joleen, done a really tremendous thing. If you go into the backlist, they did a project where readers of both channels sent in recommendations about what were the best Canadian books. And I can't remember now how many, over 100 books were recommended. And then they sort of worked it down into categories, and it was just such a great resource. So if you're looking for Canadian recommendations, both those ladies are really worthwhile checking in. Books I'm Not Reading by Kelly, it's definitely one that I go to. I don't remember why. Just take my word for it. Bob the Bookerer. He is someone else that I don't always go to, but he reads the kind of books that make me a little bit wary because they're on the harder spectrum. And he will also pay attention to the Booker Prize. I think there was another prize that he brought forward that it's on my to-do list to go back and rewatch that video and see understand that little niche a little bit better. Now, where is he from? I'm going to say he's from the States, but I'm not positive about that. And what's the other thing that he does? He usually brings about 3 or 4 books at a time to his videos, and they're not terribly long, but they're just, again, it's just a nice channel where you are listening to good recommendations. And there was something I wanted to say about him that went out of my brain. It's gone. Sorry, Bob. All right, Read by Fred. I started watching Read by Fred right when he began. And he started out primarily in the history and nonfiction side of things. And I think on the side, he's kind of a sci-fi fan. He's had some pretty interesting books that he's brought forward in terms of the nonfiction. And sometimes physics, sometimes it's a biography of a chemist, or he'll read something about, I'm making this up, something about phosphates. And he'll go, it was so interesting. I'm like, phosphates? He also brings forward fiction. And does he do war? I don't think he does war. He's got the most melodious voice. Oh, I want to listen to him just because he could be talking about cat food and I would want to listen. His voice is so lovely. And he's got a beautiful smile, and he's got a nice little, what do you call it? He's drinking his cup of coffee, and he's got himself positioned. It's just all very crafted, but it's charming. And they're fairly short. That makes it kind of fun too. And have I picked up anything that Fred's recommended? Probably not, just because he's definitely goes towards the nonfiction side. And like my nonfiction pile over there in the corner, there you go. I tried a book the other day, and I thought, I don't want to read this. It was just way too fancy pants, academia, look how smart I am kind of a book about libraries, which, you know, libraries, books should be really interesting. But this guy, my God, what a yawn. So I've only managed to eliminate one book from my nonfiction pile. Oh dear. So I don't want to add to that anymore. Now, one that is definitely on the visual side of things, it's called A Moment of Wonder. And A Moment of Wonder goes in spurts. And it is definitely a visual delight. She has a countertop, and there's teapots, and there's little trays that you would put cookies or slices of cake or something. And she'll put a book forward, and then she will be putting a cinnamon bun, and then pouring some hot chocolate. And underneath you get those like, you know, CNN does with what's happening. So she doesn't say anything. She's got some really nice soft music playing, and then she has the title of the book and the name of the author, and about 4 or maybe 5 sentences about what the book is. Now, I think that she has read most of the books. I could not swear on that. She's taking a break because they're doing renovations in the house, but you can go back and you can just sit there having a great visual experience. She tends to go for a theme, so she'll bring forward, let's pretend like ghostly paranormal, or October mysteries, or romantic carriage rides, or, you know, so she gets some kind of a theme going, and it has this cottagecore softness to it. And I don't think she brings forward anything that she wouldn't try reading herself. Now, I think there's also middle grade and adult in there. Again, I think she does young adult, but I'm not positive. Anyways, I just really love it. And the mistake I make with her is that, yeah, I want to be watching, not just listening. So I think I'll save it. I'll save it for when I can just really sit and pay attention. And then it doesn't happen, because I tend to be I'm an up and down kind of a person. Sitting still, which is a complete lie, I'm telling you, because I will sit over there on the couch and I will scroll through YouTube like way too long. So there's no reason I couldn't. But I have this idea in my head that because she's got cookies and tea, I need to make my cookie and my tea. And therefore, like, we have a coffee time together. And so that's my mistake. That's not her mistake. So I think she's not going to come back till January. But as I say, there's many, many, many things that you can go back and look at and just have a really nice time. Make sure you got a nibble, because by the time the video is over, they're about 20, 25 minutes long. You're going to be a little hungry. And, you know, if you put a fire on in the background or on the TV, a fake fire, just, you know, like, get into the character, light a candle, put on a sweater or a shawl. And you know, it's just, I really, really enjoy her content. I watch my own stuff back because I forget what I tell you. But that's more to do with the business end of things, of trying to remember what did I tell you guys. And I think that's about it. Now, I have way more on my scroll. I think I'm one of those ridiculous people that has over 150 channels, but some of them are knitting and sewing and museums, and a couple rescues and furniture flipping, music. So it's like I have quite a lot of channels that I like to watch, and sometimes when the other BookTube ones roll past, I will look and sort of look. You know how you can look at the more part underneath, and I will just check and see whether I think it's going to be a book that I like. Sometimes stations or booktubers are going through. They'll be doing the Booker. Like anybody who's doing the Booker right now, I just don't even bother clicking on them. There's a couple other people who might be doing a read along on. I don't know. Oliver Twist, I think, was going past there for a while. I'd like to read Oliver Twist, but so I don't want to spoil it. Yeah, there's a few that are no longer there, and one of them that I'm not sure what she's doing right now is Olive at a Book Olive, and she used to be the person who did Nonfiction November, and she was also someone that I could reliably find nonfiction that was not so esoteric that it, made my glasses pinch my head. So I really enjoyed her content. But she took a break, and she's not doing Nonfiction November, but in the last 2 weeks, she's posted 2 new videos. I watched one, and it was really good. And actually, I did watch both of them. The second one that has just recently come up is what she does is called pairings, and she will take a nonfiction book and pair it with a fiction book. And sometimes they happen close together in real time, and sometimes she'll pick up one or the other and go, oh, that would make a really good combination. And I've enjoyed those. I followed that advice every once in a while too. So Nonfiction November is not happening except as people have built it into their habits in the last couple of years. She did it for about 10, 11 years and has decided to close down that side of her projects. And I wondered whether someone else would pick it up, but so far not. Maybe it's because it was such her invention and energy behind it that nobody feels comfortable picking it up, and I can see that. But I just really like the idea of Nonfiction November. And having said that, oh yes, I am reading a nonfiction book, so I will tell you about that at the end of the month. So I think that's it for me. I got a new pile of books in from the library yesterday, and down here there's another 6. And I got a few books to bring to you next week, so I hope you come back. That's it for me. I hope all your reading adventures, dreams and adventures and adventures and dreams come true. Bye-bye for now.